Hey guys, it's Xander here, and we're back looking at decks in Standard. This is a token storm deck that I put together for you guys. The original idea for the list, I'm not sure who came up with it. It wasn't my idea. It's something that I've seen pop up before, so I did my own version of the list. The decks look pretty similar, and we both had the same plan of sideboarding it out into a Drake's deck. So if the original game plan doesn't work, the sideboard is all just turning the deck into a Drake's deck. So I'm just going to touch over the main board here, talk about the sideboard, interactions between, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. So to start off the lineup, we're going to have 4 copies of the namesake of the deck, and the whole reason we're doing this is Thousand Year Storm. So Thousand Year Storm is for 6, 4, a blue, and a red. It's an enchantment that sits on the battlefield, and it basically gives instants and sorceries Storm. Relevant to instant and sorceries. So Storm is for the number of spells played before it. Thousand Year Storm is for the number of instants and sorceries cast that turn. You may copy it and choose new targets for the copies. So how this deck works is just drawing bulk cards, often at a discount, and then playing the 4 of Heroic Reinforcements to just stomp the game. So it's for 4, 2, a red, and a white. At sorcery speed, you create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens until end of turn. Those creatures get +1/+1 and gain haste. So if we've got 6 mana already to cast the Thousand Year Storm, we go to turn 7, we got 7 mana, and then we just chain off a heap of 1 cost, 2 cost spells into this, getting a huge board full of creatures, all with haste, all with multiple +1 stacks, and swing for lethal. That's the idea behind the deck. It doesn't always work. It is really susceptible to stuff like control, doesn't go fantastic against aggro. The deck itself is not great, but if it goes off, and it does go off, it can be the funniest freaking thing. It is just so fun. So to enable this, we need to filter off the top, we need to draw cards, and we need cheap spells. So to start off with the draw card and adding a little bit of ramp to the deck, we're running 4 copies of Pirate's Pillage. It's an old card from Ixalan. It wasn't played in anything. It actually works really well in this. So it's for 4, 3, and a red. At sorcery speed, as an additional cost to cast Pirate's Pillage, you discard a card, and then you draw 2 cards and create 2 treasures. So the treasures tap to sacrifice for any color mana, but what it allows us to do is on turn 4, we play Pirate's Pillage, we discard a card, we draw 2 more cards, and then we've got the 2 treasures, so that even if we don't hit a land drop on turn 5, we can still play Thousand Year Storm, meaning that on turn 5, 6 is when we can start comboing off. So we just need to try and drag the game out to that point, or be able to ramp stupid hard just using the Pirate's Pillage. So the treasures are really relevant. It allows us to play Thousand Year Storm earlier than we should. And if Pirate's Pillage is triggered with Thousand Year Storm and it's the 2nd or 3rd spell we've played, we only have to discard 1 card to the ability, which means it's basically a ritual. We're getting all this mana for free, we're drawing all of these cards, and it just goes really deep into the deck. It's great. 4 copies of Opt, which is for 1 blue. At instant speed, you scry 1 and draw a card. Again, filtering off the top. It's a cantrip, so it's a 1 cost draw card. Exactly what this deck wants to do. To continue filtering off the top, searching for our combo pieces, we are playing 3 copies of Discovery to Dispersal. So Dispersal is something in this deck that we're only going to be able to play if we have treasures, but the Discovery side of it is for 2, 1, and a hybrid, so blue or black. You surveil 2, and then you draw a card. So you get to look at the top 2 cards, decide whether or not you want them in your bin, and then draw a card. And the Dispersal in the right situation is for 5, 3, a blue, and a black. At instant speed, each opponent returns a non-land permanent they control with the highest converted mana cost among permanents they control to their owner's hand, and then discards a card. More aggressive draw card in the form of 3 copies of Charter Course. So for 2, 1, and a blue, at sorcery speed, you draw 2 cards and then discard a card unless you tacked with a creature this turn. And 3 copies of Revitalize, which is for 2, 1, and a white. At instant speed, you gain 3 life and you draw a card. This is something that allows us to stay in the game against aggro. If we've got a Thousand Year Storm out on turn 4, and then turn 5 we play a 1 cost card, a 2 cost card, and 1 of these, being able to gain 9 life and draw 3 cards off it, insanely good value. It's just allowing us to stick the game out a little bit longer, drag the game out more, and keep us in the fight. I haven't seen it in a lot of the other versions of the deck, but I also haven't seen anybody running 3 copies of Goblin Electromancer, which is for 2, 1 blue, and a red. It's a 2/2 Goblin Wizard with instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. For me, having Goblin Electromancer in here is a given. It allows us to Pirate's Pillage on turn 3. It allows us to play all of these 2 cost draw cards for 1, turning them into cantrips. Charter Course is for 1, draw 2. It's just a given. I don't know why you wouldn't be playing it in the normal deck. It enables us to play more spells with Heroic Reinforcements on the turn that we want to combo off. Just a really great card for what we're trying to do. 2 copies of Mission Briefing, which is for 2 blue. An instant speed, you surveil 2, so it's filtering off the top again. And then you can choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn, and if it would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So this allows us to, if we've discarded a Heroic Reinforcements, or if we've already played a Heroic Reinforcements and we can't find another copy, it's essentially another 2 copies of Heroic Reinforcements, or if we need the clutch Pirate's Pillage, or if we need to draw cards or gain life, it's just a really great card. A little bit of protection in the form of Spell Pierce in 2 copies. So it's for 1 blue at instant speed. You counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. Helps against stuff like Settle the Wreckage if we can play it early enough in the game. Helps us catch those counter spells that would stop the Thousand Year Storm or the Heroic Reinforcements from stopping our game plan. Some damage in the form of 4 copies of Shock and 2 copies of Lightning Strike. So Shock is for 1 at instant speed, you deal 2 damage to any target, and Lightning Strike is for 2, 1 and a red. At instant speed, you deal 3 damage to any target. If we have a Goblin Electromancer out, we can play Lightning Strike for 1. So for 1 deal 3 is great, and if we have Thousand Year Storm out, being able to chain off spells and then just play a Lightning Strike and deal a shitload of damage, it's just another alternate win con in the deck. So we've got the gain life, we've got the draw card, we've got the creatures, try to stop face, everything's revolving around the Thousand Year Storm. Yes, it's really squishy. Yes, it's a glass cannon. I don't care, the deck is a hell of a lot of fun. Actually, on the land base here, we're running 4 copies of Sulphur Falls, which comes in tapped unless you control an island or a mountain. 4 copies of Steam Vents, which is an island mountain, comes in tapped unless you pay 2 life. 4 copies of Sacred Foundry, which is a mountain plains, comes in tapped unless you pay 2 life. 4 copies of Clifftop Retreat, which comes in tapped unless you control a mountain or a plains. 3 copies of Glacial Fortress, which comes in tapped unless you control a plains or an island. 2 islands and a mountain. The land base has worked pretty well for me so far. I love everything about what the main deck's trying to do. The whole combo side of it, hell of a lot of fun. I'm into janky decks, and this is sure as shit one of them. So if you like jank, if you like fun, I strongly advise playing this deck. But if you are playing in a game and you are trying to win, and game 1 they've just got every answer, they're just shitting on your combos, whatever, you can just use the sideboard, clean swap it out into a Drake's deck. So we've got 4 copies of Terramander, which is for 1 blue, a 1/1 Salamander Drake with flying. Pay 8 to adapt it. Adapt 4, so it gets 4+1 counters on it, and then it costs 1 less to activate for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. The 4 copies of Crackling Drake, which is for 4, 2 blue and 2 red. Star 4 Drake with flying, and its power and toughness is equal to the number of instants and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then when Crackling Drake enters the battlefield, you draw a card. 2 copies of Niv Mizzet for the control matchups. This thing can be an absolute nightmare in the right matchup. For 6, it's a 5/5 Dragon Wizard. Can't be countered, has flying. Whenever you draw a card, it deals 1 damage to any target, and then whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. So our draw card turns into more draw card, into more damage, and yeah, it can work really well. It's really effective. Some protection in the form of Dive Down. 2 copies for 1 at instant speed. Target creature gets +0/+3 and hexproof until end of turn. And to finish off the Drake swap out, 3 copies of Enigma Drake, which is for 3, 1, a blue and a red. It's a star 4 Drake with flying, and its power and toughness is equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So when you do want to go to the Drake plan, it's a pretty easy swap. We're just taking out the Thousand Year Storm, we're taking out the Heroic Reinforcements for the Crackling and the Terramanders there. We take out the couple of copies of Mission Briefing, bring in the Dive Downs, because we still want the spell pieces there for protection. And we can throw out the Pirate's Pillage, because we don't need the ramp plan anymore. Throw in the Enigma Drakes, and whether or not you want a Briefing or stuff like a Niv Mizzet. So that's what the sideboarding will look like if you're trying to swap your game plan. Deck works really well. Once you are swapped out, you've still got a lot of cantrips, you've got a shitload of draw card, a little bit of damage in there for removal, a bit of protection, and all of the Drakes that we know and love. That is the sideboard, that is the deck swap, that is the main board, that is Token Storm in Standard, and I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to see new videos as they were released. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel, you can throw me $1 on my Patreon at patreon.com/SandersQuest. And I will see you guys in the next video. Keep questing, guys.